Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. We're going to talk about He-Man and the Masters of the Universe coming to Netflix. And no, I'm not talking about the Kevin Smith show. I'm talking about another He-Man series is coming to Netflix. And I actually misunderstood what was going on. We had people tagging us in a couple of days ago saying, hey, there's a new He-Man show coming to Netflix. I'm like, yeah, that's really old news. Everybody knows. And they're like, no. It's new He-Man. New He-Man. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it, please subscribe if you have not subscribed already. We're at about 85,000 subs. Hoping for 100,000 soon. You guys have been awesome. So let's talk about the new He-Man show coming to Netflix. Unlike Kevin Smith's 2D animated Masters of the Universe, this one will feature CGI animation. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But this is really interesting that they are ramping up the He-Man content on Netflix and that it's Mattel themselves taking control of He-Man. It's not DreamWorks like She-Ra. So I have to wonder what's going on here. I mean, obviously a lot of this I think was to build the brand up for the movie that now reportedly is going to go direct to Netflix too. I don't know what's going on, but it does seem like Mattel is definitely bringing He-Man back in a big way. We did a video about the new action figures coming out. They're doing retro style figures, but they have more articulation. I'm actually really excited about those. I think I'll be picking those up. But here we go. Netflix announced on Wednesday that the streaming network will become home to another new He-Man in the Masters of the Universe animated series. I have concerns. I'm going to keep going. A young prince discovers a mighty power and an epic story begins once more. Netflix tweeted on Wednesday, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe wage a new battle against Skeletor in a reimagined take on a classic franchise. Anytime they use the word reimagined, I get nervous. Reimagined is usually code for we're going to make changes so drastic that fans of the original will no longer recognize it. We're going to make it very current year. It's not going to age well. I wouldn't consider 2002 He-Man a reimagined He-Man. It was just an update of it. So I am concerned about the use of the word reimagined. I'm kind of wondering, are we going to have like man-bun-at-arms? You know, I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with this. So here it is on the Netflix official account. The artwork for Skeletor looks pretty decent, though. I mean, it actually looks like Skeletor. That's good, right? That's good. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, created by Netflix and Mattel Television. Again, this is very important. It's Mattel, not DreamWorks. Could this be why they're pushing She-Ra out as fast as they are? Because She-Ra's had, what, 4 seasons in less than a year? I kind of wonder if they're trying to get She-Ra off the table before He-Man drops. The new series story will take place on Eternia, where a young lost prince discovers the power of Grayskull and transforms into He-Man, Master of the Universe. He-Man and his friends will face off against Skeletor, according to the show synopsis. Hey, He-Man looks like He-Man. Kind of. Actually, he looks sort of like 2002 He-Man, I guess. The sword kind of looks like 2002 He-Man. Very blocky. The art style looks very blocky. But it might be good. It might be good. The new CGI animated series is different than the other He-Man series headed up by Netflix. The anime series called Masters of the Universe Revelation, headed up by Kevin Smith. Smith's He-Man series is described as a wholly original story set in the epic world of Mattel's over 35-year-old global He-Man toy franchise. So we don't have release dates for these. Screen Rant's talking about it too. We don't have a release date. It's very interesting that they're doing 2 simultaneous He-Man series. I'm not quite understanding what the thought process is here, other than market penetration, saturation. They're trying to make sure that they have a He-Man for every taste, I think. And I am kind of wondering, how different this show is going to be from the original, because it's almost like, well, for the old school fans, we're going to have the Kevin Smith show, and then this show is going to try to appeal more to the new fans, which they look, toy companies do this all the time. Hasbro does it all the time. They have a new Transformers cartoon, but they also make sure they keep the classic Generations characters out, and they have the comic books for the old school fans, or they had the more traditional Transformers on the shelf when they had the Michael Bay Transformer movie out. That's kind of how it works. I don't know. I don't know what to think of this. I think that He-Man is definitely coming back in a big way. I know we have new toys coming. You know, supposedly we've got this movie coming out with the guy that's in the rom-coms, all the rom-coms, you know, and it's supposed to be direct to Netflix too. But clearly He-Man is going to play a bigger role on Netflix. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what effect this has on She-Ra, because I get the vibe that once She-Ra's production run ends, it's done. It's over. That's it for She-Ra. I do not believe either of these shows are going to cross over with She-Ra. I don't know how they could actually exist in that universe anyway. But it's kind of a bummer, because I would like to see Hordak come back as an adversary of He-Man and not be an emo. That would be pretty cool. So, I don't know. We had Aaron Sparrow, who's the writer of the Darkwing Duck comics from Boom. And he was on last night, and he said that he's actually heard that the new Kevin Smith He-Man show, again, this is through the grapevine, but he's heard the new Kevin Smith show will actually focus on Teela and her girlfriend. That's what he's telling, based on what he's heard. I don't know if that's true. I don't think he knows that that's true, but that's kind of, I don't think that's going to play well with a lot of the old school He-Man fans to have a He-Man show be based on Teela and her girlfriend while He-Man is sidelined. However, this is pretty promising. I'm going out to Screen Rant, and they said that it's a reimagined, fresh take on the classic battles between He-Man and Skeletor. That does concern me, again, reimagined, but the show's off to a strong start, with multiple members of He-Man's production team having worked on other popular animated series like Batman Beyond and TMNT. Is this the version of He-Man that they were playing before? Because I remember hearing that there was a He-Man in development for, I think it was Nickelodeon. They were going to bring it back, and it did have quite a pedigree. So this will be really interesting. Really interesting if this is good. So this is what Mattel's Senior VP of Content Distribution said. He spoke briefly about how the new series would try to retain a contemporary appeal while also satisfying longtime He-Man and the Masters of the Universe fans. He said Masters of the Universe is one of the most iconic global franchises of all time, and that Mattel's entire team was very excited to reimagine the classic characters in a way that appeals to kids and families today, while also resonating with the fans who grew up with them. So maybe they're not going to deviate too far from it. Like, this is the biggest problem I know that they're having with She-Ra, is that they, tried so hard to do a 180 from the original show that they alienated a huge part of the fan base, and it's hurt them in toy sales. I mean, the She-Ra toys, the dolls, are exclusive to Target. They're not even anything like the originals, but they don't seem to be selling. Every time we go to Target, they're the same amount of She-Ras that have been there, since they dropped them. And Geeky, I know, is a long time huge She-Ra fan, and she's not into it. She's not into the new She-Ra at all. And I know a lot of Masters of the Universe fans or also She-Ra fans. They were not into Netflix's or DreamWorks' take on She-Ra. So it may have, cultivated a new audience from Tumblr, but it wasn't very successful, I don't think, looking at it from the outside, in maintaining the original She-Ra fan base. It's been a very divisive show. It sounds to me like Mattel wants all the money, and I have to wonder if Mattel's not making sure they're the ones being put in charge of it this time, to make sure that they stay true to, the series roots. And I wonder if maybe they know there's going to be backlash with Kevin Smith's show. I don't know. If it focuses on Teela and not He-Man, I kind of wonder how people are going to react to that too. The story I've heard, again, these are just rumors, is that the Kevin Smith show will actually be about Teela basically becoming the sorceress and helping He-Man get his sword, but He-Man's, he's basically sidelined in his own show. I don't know if that's true, but that's what we've been hearing. So maybe this is an answer to that. Maybe this is an answer. Or they took a look at it and they're like, this is way too dark for kids and we want to sell toys. That could be the case too. But very, very interesting. And this is all about Mattel trying to shore up their film business like Hasbro's doing, I think. And Mattel wants to be content creators too. And He-Man is a beloved brand. That's why there was so much backlash against the treatment of She-Ra on Netflix, is because, it is an established brand with established fan base, and anytime you try to reboot something that has an established fan base, you get the fandom with it. Whether or not you like it, the fandom comes with it. So hopefully they don't screw this up. I have to admit my curiosity has piqued a little bit. I was a huge fan of the 2002 series, and I think it ended way too soon, and I'm hoping, maybe this will have kind of the same tone, but they're saying, well, for today's families, I'm like, oh god, it'll probably be kind of kiddified. I don't know. Oh, okay, this is interesting. So I went out to Deadline. They've got more information on it. So the designer, Jeff Matsuda, from the Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book artist, who's actually very, very good. He worked on TMNT. Susan Corbin from Voltron will also produce. We have a producer from Arrow, Smallville, and Sleepy Hollow. He's going to serve as a story editor, and animation services are being provided by House of Cool that did Trollhunters. So the CG is being done by the people who did Trollhunters. That does change things a little bit. This might actually be pretty good. What's really interesting too is the characters that they're including are really some oddball choices. Extendar. Okay, we have Man-at-Arms, of course. Gwildor. Battle Cat, and Roboto. So Extendar, I don't think he was in the original animated series. If he was, it was very, very briefly. Roboto wasn't in it very much either. So this is interesting. This is interesting, the characters they're picking. So this might actually be okay. It might actually be okay. It's gonna suck compared to Princesses of Power. It's gonna suck. She-Ra's a much better update. Can't we get Noelle to do this one too? Okay, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna be keeping an eye on all the He-Man comings and goings. We'll talk to you guys later. Thinking about printing your own comic books, graphic novel, or manga? We recommend our friends over at PrintNinja. We've been using PrintNinja as long as they've been printing comics, and both the quality and price is excellent. Mention Clownfish TV and get an additional 5% overrun of your book order quantity printed for free. For free! That's free books, people. Just mention this offer on the phone or in the additional information box on the quote request form. That's printninja.com, or click on the link in the description below. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.